What's up, guys? It's Envy here. Today we're going to be going over the route that I use for the 350 plus mob boost in Maraudon. One thing to know in advance, I do use engineering and iron grenades to grab a couple of extra packs. It's not needed, but it definitely makes it a lot easier. We'll go over some consumables next though. I'd say nature resist potions are the only ones that are necessary for this run. The only other consumables that I use are just kind of to make it a little bit easier along the way, such as mage blood that gives me HP 5, greater defense for plus 200 armor, and I pop Nightfin Sky Suit before starting the pull just for the 8 mana per 5. I also try and keep all of my mana gems made and use them on cooldown from smallest to highest depending on how much mana I need. Alright, I wanted to pause it real quick. This rock is a reset spot. You can either jump on the top of it or wedge yourself behind it on the left between the wall and it'll evade the mobs. So make sure you blink past this pack of Dimetrodons right here, otherwise they will pull and you'll have to use that reset spot. So I like to start out by marking this rock patrol on the right. Then we're going to head over to Princess and mark the next one on her path. Once we mark this pack, we'll let them patrol forward at least past those second group of rock giants before we head back to the first path that we marked. So the goal of this is mainly to control both of these patrols into our group so that we don't have to rely on them being in the correct position later. Alright, so now that everything's in the right place, we can start the pull. We're going to grab these and bring them back over to the other group of rocks. If you get there too soon or anything like that, it's really not a big deal. You can just keep slows on these guys, Cone of Cold, Blizzard, whatever, just to group them with the other pack over here, depending on their positioning. It won't always be perfect, but it'll be pretty close for the most part. Jump down, make sure to blink or ice block. There's a stopwatch on my screen because this line in front of us we can't cross for at least 20 to 25 seconds, otherwise the rock patrols might reset. Make sure you have a barrier up and you blink through this section because this hydras can hit you from below. The section I'm in now, if you're learning from the beginning, this is where the 270 pull starts or the 290 pull. So if you ever want to try that first, you can start from where I am now without grabbing those rock patrols. So I'll go ahead and grab these mobs with like fireball, wand, face pull them, anything that works at the time, depending how much distance I have from those hydras. A lot of people will tell you to use blink on cooldown in this section. I do that to an extent, just depending on how close things are to me. Mainly because I like to conserve mana along the way and save it for if I actually really need it. Especially right up here is a spot you will need it. Either these rocks are going to stun you, or you're going to be able to Nova them like I did here with no problem. But having a blink up, it'll save you there. I'll throw down a blizzard here. This one isn't super needed, but wherever I can, depending on how much mana I have, I like to keep them as grouped as possible, just because it helps later on. The main thing you do need to think in here is grouping. So wherever you can take wide turns like this and hold your blink, just to kind of make them go in a triangular formation and stack up together, that's the best thing to do. So anywhere you can do that, always try and do that if it's safe and you have enough distance. The only thing you may have to watch out for when doing that is the Dimetrodons, especially the blue ones. The blue ones can silence you and cause you to not be able to blink or anything, and you might be screwed. Once you counterspell this pack right here, make sure you have counterspell up for that, but always mark the back mob just so you can see whenever it's coming. Get your bandages off of your mana gems, whatever you need to do to kind of refresh. As soon as you see that X or skull or whatever you marked it with, you can throw this blizzard down and try and get the grouping going. You don't have to hold it as long as I did. I only threw down the second one because of how far it was. I just wanted to kind of get it back grouped. And I'll grab these and put a Nova on them just to get the Dimetrodons in the back, the blue ones. Like I said, I don't want to get silenced later. I got a little unlucky here with these. I usually like to grab the Dimetrodons in front of me with a Fire Blast and the Rock Pat with something else, like a Cone of Cold or anything, but they were just in the same spot, so I didn't really have a choice. If you ever have trouble in this section with grouping, distance, or anything like that, you can get a nifty stopwatch, a Skull of Impending Doom, or you can get Swiftness Pots. That's why I have some on my bar. I try not to use them that often, but if I think I'm going to get in a pinch or anything like that, I'd rather use it than make that really long death run from the graveyard. So now we'll do a little bit more grouping before we grab more mobs. You can throw a blizzard on this ramp behind you over here. This is where the 170 to 190 pull starts if you're learning fresh. You can grab the snakes on the right here and the ones in front of us under the bridge with a rank 1 frostbolt and start there. This is where I'd recommend starting if you're doing this for the first time and then slowly building on it with the other sections. You're going to either face pull or arcane explosion this pack on the right, fire blast this group in front of us, and then the back section will counterspell them, and then you're going to have to blink past all of these mobs right here. This is probably the sketchiest part in the entire run. I'll normally Kona Cold them if they get too close here, but I did it way too early in this one. If you really need to, you can Nova, but I mean, that's kind of your last resort. It's better than dying. Even if the group is already tight, I'll always go around this rock right here, let them pad up to me as close as I can, comfortably, and then blink through, just to group them a little bit better. If you're having trouble or anything in this section, you can always iron grenade those hydras whenever they run off there, just to give you some more distance between them. Just make sure you avoid the sisters, the pack on the left over there, and the patrol in front of us. They have bows, they'll push back your cast constantly. It's not a good time. You'll just have to reset if you grab them. Make sure to fire blast this slime up here to try and get it to not reset. Target the next slime, be ready to fire blast it. There's a next pack of 2 ahead of us as well. Counterspell that one as far as you can. And then once we get into this room ahead, I'll blink. As soon as I get into this, iron grenade one of the mobs on the right, fire blast the other, and it'll get both of those. Once you get to this section though, you're pretty safe. You can bandage up, evocate, do whatever you need. Alright, so we'll get ready to grab this pack behind us with a blizzard. We'll try and wait till these mobs are close to the corner of the stairs, blizzard this pack, get this tree on the right with a frostbolt, and then we'll go up and be ready for the loop. So you're going to want to be able to put a blizzard on this ledge right here and let it sit as long as you can. Try and get as many mobs as you can into it just so the loop is safe. You'll jump blink through down here. You shouldn't have any issues with it. You can pull that tree with fire blast if you need to on the right. We'll pull this one ahead with counterspell from a distance to put it in the middle of the group. And there's some more mobs in this section on the right that are invisible. You can either arcane explosion or nova. I usually nova them. It's kind of preference. This section is really good for grouping. So if you can get some distance and make a really wide turn here, I usually try and go as far as I can to blink back in a triangle and make them group. We'll do a little bit more grouping on these stairs. Try and get close enough to put it on the top section because it'll slow them on the top and the bottom, so the grouping is a lot better in that section. But once all of these are slowed, we'll blink through and go grab some more satyrs. Remember to put up dampen magic because I didn't yet. So we'll try and pull all 3 of these together. So you'll target the one on the right, rank 1 frostbolt, you'll counterspell the one in the middle, fire blast the one on the left, and then they'll all come together. Sometimes you'll be a little early like I am here, and the other pack is a little far behind, so I'll try and make a little bit of time here and give a little distance. But this is another room I like to make wide turns in and try and help with grouping and blink last second. You'll Nova this next pack here and drop down, and then we'll head over to the grouping phase before we make the loop. These don't always chain pull, so I'll usually blizzard them, then blizzard the pack to kind of include them in it. The satyr up top here, you can either blizzard him like I do, or you can counterspell him. Try to get a full blizzard here so all the mobs get slowed and the grouping is pretty well, and then we'll jump down and go grab the rest of the trees that we missed, make a loop, and then come back to the kill phase. We'll get back here, Frostbolt the tree in the back left, Arcane Explosion in the middle two, and then Counterspell the one on the right. We'll Nova this pack of satyrs up here. Sometimes you can get some of the trees in it, but it doesn't matter if you don't. We'll blink ahead, try and get some grouping going with blizzards again, and see if we can get everything grouped stacked together. You'll target this pack in front of me on the right, and we can fire blast them whenever we pass them up. I usually like to cone a cold the group that we're walking into now, but if I use it already, I'll just face pull them. But I like to make another wide turn here so the mobs get more grouped. Swap to mage armor, pop your nature protection potions, and then get ready for the kill. Here's another section too that if you really want to play it safe in, you can either pop a swiftness potion, or if you have a nifty stopwatch, that'll help you get ahead a lot faster. But make sure you save your blink for whenever you're over this path right here if you do not do that, because if you don't have a blink and the mobs are under you, they'll hit you through it and instant kill you. But regardless, I would get in the habit of always blinking across right here, just so you're used to it. And then you can start max rank blizzarding here. Also, if you're having issues with imps and you need to kill imps, once you do this first blizzard here, if you step forward and to the left like this, they'll start to go up the ramp and you can include them in the kill. I'll speed up the kill from here though, and then I'll show you the mob count whenever it's done. But hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you'd like to see next. Thanks.